Good morning and welcome to another day of the Daily Reset. Friday morning, and you are already up and ready to make this day count. And I want us to crown this week by speaking about motivation. Motivation. I will start off with a question. What do you believe is the strongest source of motivation? What is the one element that is assured to give you motivation? And motivation can apply to many elements. I had shared with you some of the circumstances under which I found myself very motivated today at work. What is it that really motivates you? What is the strongest motivator? Let me take a look. Okay, so there is pain, there is immense discomfort, there is vision, pain relief. I'm looking at your answers. Please give a few more. Let's share. What are some of the strongest motivators? Let's give your views, then I'm sure we will narrow down to some. I'm going to give you, at the count of 3, we will move on. Nicole, my daughters, yes, I would want to listen to the full story, how they motivate you. I see desire, I see discomfort. Right. Just think about this example that I had already shared with you. Now, the people watching the video would wonder what the example is about, but just think the circumstances in which where you found yourself, where something needs to happen. The common element is urgency, but the true motivator, the true source of the motivation is something behind urgency. So what does urgency point towards? Urgency. You can be uncomfortable, you can be in distress, but it's not urgent. There are things that are uncomfortable in your life you've lived with because the discomfort is not intense enough, it's not immediate enough. So what is it behind urgency? So urgency is the source of the motivation, but what is behind urgency? What's behind urgency is one word: deadline. Deadline. So in other words, timing. Whatever it is that you are motivated about must happen by a certain time. I don't know who called those rooms restrooms. I don't know who called them restrooms because the circumstances when you end up using them with urgency, there's no rest. They should be called urgency rooms. Urgency points towards deadline. Anything in your life last year, 2025, that got done on time was attached to a deadline. Now, sometimes a deadline comes in the form of a penalty, such that if you don't do it, you're going to incur a penalty. Sometimes it comes as a consequence. Sometimes it comes as a person. 2018, I remember 2018, I had just started working as a medical resident in Wichita, Kansas. And I was working in the ICU for 3 weeks. The 4th Saturday, one of my friends was coming to visit from Kansas City, and I was living in Wichita, Kansas. And I had not had the motivation to clean up my house. That Saturday morning, I had worked in ICU until 9 p.m. By the time he arrived 10 a.m., my bathroom was clean, my kitchen was clean. I cleaned everywhere because of the person. And it's not because he was coming, it's because he was coming by a certain time. And so I woke up and cleaned. So the person is attached to it, there is urgency attached to it, but the hidden element is deadline. Deadline. There are reports which you wrote last year and you submitted them on time because of deadline. There are projects you were involved in, you gave your input and you gave it on time because of deadline. There was a consequence, there was a penalty, and the penalty is not even money. The penalty is what will they think about me if I don't do it or if I don't show up. But these are all layers at the core. At the bottom is deadline. Every time you think about deadline, think dopamine. Deadline is dopamine. Sometimes we scroll on social media like there's a deadline. If I don't see 300 posts in the next hour, that's because our brain loves dopamine. If you've ever done a major series of exams, like maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 days of exams, you are at a higher energy level during the week when you're doing the exams. And then once the exam is over, you kind of almost feel like there's some loss of sense of purpose at the end. Motivation, urgency, deadline. So let's apply this. We'll start with the same exercise we have done before. I want you to write your top 10 goals for this year. Don't refer. If you're referring, you're cheating. Pen and paper. Write them out. What are your top 10 goals? If you haven't done this exercise, you just just distill what comes right now. What are your top 10 goals this year? The goal is to get to a point where they come out so quickly, because unless the goal is specific, you cannot change it. If you're changing a goal that is specific, you are not changing the goal, you are drifting. If you don't have a destination, if you are on the road and you are not headed anywhere specific and then you change direction, you are not changing direction, you're just drifting. But if I know you are going to Nairobi and then you tell me you are now changing direction, you're going to Thika, that's a change. What are your top 10 goals? Top 10 goals for 2026. They'll probably be more or they'll probably be less. But what are your top 10 goals? So while you write this, I want you to think as you continue, what is the difference between what I'm writing in terms of desire versus goal? Is what is coming out, are what are coming out goals, or are these desires? I will call a couple of you. Please share, no explanation, no motivation in terms of, oh, this goal is important, because no, just tell me the goal. You'll just tell me 3 or 4 goals. You don't have to go all through the 10 of them. I'm going to start off with, I want to see I don't remember who responded to this exercise before, but I will just call a couple of you. Frida. Frida, Florence, Esther, Beatrice. Let's go, Frida.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening, Doc. I have a goal to grow spiritually. This is by reading the Word of God and being prayerful this year. Then I have a goal on my physical exercises. This is to be consistency in workouts and to be mindful of my nutrition, Then I also have a goal on my intelligence in terms of continuous learning. It touches on my growth on career and
Yes. Yeah.
also my consistency in reading books.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a goal on my financials, that is on growing my savings
Okay.
and being more intentional in setting aside money.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. So, question to you.
mhm.
There is the tension between desire and goal. Where do you feel you are in those areas you've identified? Are those goals, or do you feel that there are more of desires? The difference makes all the difference. The difference between the two makes all the difference. I guess that's correct. Okay, listen in. Just continue listening in. Let me get the next couple of people, then we can review. Florence, you gave us your goals last time, but I want you to go really quickly. Just mention them, no explanation. One.
Okay. After that, the automation, I realized it's quite a number of the goals I
Yes.
had automated. So my goals have reduced to education goal,
Yes.
keeping on track with my PhD journey
Mm-hmm.
and my personal growth. And then the financial goal is hitting the targeted saving amount.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the goals I'm running with this year.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Frida, you've something that has come out from Florence that will help you a lot. Okay. Some of the elements you mentioned need to go from being goals to becoming lifestyle. Growing spiritually is an outcome, right? The outcome will show up. You just have to show up and read your Bible or meditate or reflect whatever spiritual practice for a given amount of time consistently. That's it. So that it's no longer a goal. It enters your calendar, your daily schedule, and it's automated. No thinking about it. Growing intellectually, you figure out what are the 3 or 4 things that you need to do. Then you prioritize which ones you have room for. You identify them, then you decide which ones you will go for, and you commit resources. Make sure you're committing the resources you have. The things you need to do which require time, you must accord them time with margin, so that you don't have 3 activities, each of them is going to take 20 minutes, and you have put them in the same hour. You are going to rush from one to the next. There is no margin. You actually will begin to hate the process because you feel like you've become just an executor of activities. Margin. Because the important thing is to do it meaningfully, to do it with depth, to be present when you're doing it. So, Florence, yes, when you automate your day and you identify what the resources you have are in terms of time, energy, and attention, and you automate your day, you take some of those goals that are supposed to be lifestyle elements, and they are no longer goals, and they become automated. Physical activity cannot be a goal for anyone here from today going forward. It is not a goal. Physical activity is, what is the activity? Are you jumping rope? Are you doing push-ups? Are you doing sit-ups? Are you walking on a treadmill? For how long? At what time of the day? Period. You take it, you stick it there. It's like having a goal, like I will be, if whether you drive or you take public transport, that my goal this year is to take public transport to work at 7:30 a.m. every day. Why is that a goal? My goal is anytime I get into bed to pull the blanket and make sure I've covered myself before I sleep. I know I've really taken a very simple example, but that's the point. That there are things which you want them to be part of your identity. It become part of your identity because they are the elements with which you build the internal reputation. You show up for them even without your brain, because this is where you take the body so that your brain can follow you. The mind will follow where the body goes. You automate what the body will do, and you bring the body, even if the brain doesn't want to come, even if the mind wants to negotiate, you bring the body. You bring the body to wake up. The brain will be negotiating. It's like the temperature. Oh, you know, today is a holiday. Nope. Once you commit, the automation is for your body, because the body will create a rhythm. Motivation comes from the word movere. It is about moving. You will never get motivation without moving. So Florence, you've given us a really deep insight. Your goals simplify the better you automate your day, such that some things no longer. My goal this year is to brush my teeth every time after I eat. So there are things that must disappear, absolutely disappear, from goals to your identity. This is who I am. I wake up at this time, I do this, then I show up at work. At the end of my work day, this is the 1 or 2 things I do before I leave the office. I sit down and write maybe what did I accomplish or what did I learn, and then I'm out. When I get home, this is who I am. I show up and I set my clothes for tomorrow or maybe for the gym. And what is your identity? How does your body show up in that space in the evening, in the morning, so that becomes, it creates flow. And the flow just makes it automatic that this is going to happen. You don't have to think about it. Remember, when you take the body there, the brain must follow. The mind must follow. Take the body, the brain will follow. Once the body has arrived, no, we need to think about something, then we are like, okay, brain, come here, we need to think about something. But don't ask the brain whether we need to go. The brain will be like, it is raining, there's going to be traffic jam. The brain starts predicting things. The body goes fast, because if the body is there, the brain must follow. The mind must follow. The emotions will catch up. Esther, give us your goals. Don't be afraid. Just give us the goals. Esther. And then we'll have Beatrice.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning and good evening, Doc. I'm here wondering if the goals I had set are goals or they should be automated. Because I did an exercise, more healthy eating, and I find that they should be automated. So the ones that I think are goals are I want to write a physical book this year.
Okay,
and
that's great.
I want to market the ebooks I wrote last year. That's by positioning myself better on social media. Then I want to open a YouTube channel and also to find a sustainable source of income that aligns with my strengths.
Okay. I love it, and I love the honesty that because that is the goal of us talking about this, because these are the steps. We are identifying your runway. I don't know when it will show up. Once we identify your runway, you show up on the runway, no longer thinking about what time you will exercise, because the big thing is now on the table. The small things have been automated. The engine is running smoothly. Can you imagine if you got into an aircraft and the engine is doing... You want to hear the engine go because the engine is running. The engine has flow. How do you create the flow? By taking the friction away from these things that need to be automated, so that your whole intellectual self, when you show up, just the same way you don't think about covering yourself when you sleep, right? It's the same way exercise was like, oh, movement, oh, that was 30 minutes ago, I am done. In fact, you get so comfortable that you know that you will do it. If you anything else gets planned with that in mind. So thank you, Esther. You have some specific goals in there. The lacking element is the strongest driver of motivation: deadlines. And that is why a goal needs to be smart. That's because the last element of a smart goal is time, deadline. Without the T, you can have... I know some people, I don't think there's any of you here. I know some people who have a resolution they can identify from 2004 that was never implemented. And maybe another resolution from 2011, another one from 2017. I know that all of you, I'm so excited to share with you things that don't relate to you. Resolution from 2022 that was never implemented, right? I am guilty. And I look back on some of those things. When I look back, it's very clear why. It's very clear why. Esther, the book Embody. I took 2 weeks off work. 2 weeks. And I sat down morning to evening and read through all the material that I had ever written that would be relevant for the book. And I wrote that book within 2 weeks and I was done. I had a deadline on the 14th. I sent that book to Radido Doso of Zion Pal Publishers, Nairobi. I called him and I told him, I'm sending you the book at 4 p.m. today. On that day, I emailed him the book, the PDF, and that was it. Deadline. Because I had the capacity to do that book way, way longer. But once I decided I'll be going to Kenya at this time, I want to go and share this book so that I don't keep carrying it around. The power of a deadline. You will do so many things for your employer because of the deadline, but some of the things that truly, really matter for you stay hanging because you have not drawn a timeline like this is going to happen here. Beatrice will get to you probably at the next event. Beatrice, are you there? Maybe do you have 2 goals? 2 goals. Share with me 2 goals.
Good evening, Doc, and good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, very short. The first one is about my spiritual life. I've programmed to be praying for 1 hour between midnight to 3 a.m. and also reading the Bible within that period. And
Okay.
just for my finances to expand my finances, maybe just looking different ways. I have a website which is not live. So if you go to the website, you cannot get it, but on the Google Drive, you can always get the reactions are very less because it's not live. So I'm planning by March, I let it go live so that in case there are clients who need things, they can always get, we can always communicate. I've been dormant on it. So I think that's 2. I've talked of 2, the rest we'll talk later on. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No, I have a question for you. And if you allow me, I will ask you a question about your prayer. Are you praying, is this every day?
Yes, every day except some few days, we have a program.
Or
We are
you're part of a program that you pray at that time?
yes.
Do you so I'm asking this because of sleep.
Yes.
I am when it comes to sleep, I am many of you probably already know. So how much sleep do you get a night? Do you feel that you get adequate sleep?
I get I planned 7. I know we are talking of 8, but it's always 7 hours and
Okay.
some minutes.
Yeah.
So I
So
just within that.
I would love to make sure that you are getting enough sleep, and
Yes.
also certain activities. If I had the option, I wouldn't do the daily reset at 8 to 9 p.m. because after here I remain activated. I have to sit down and switch off, literally cool the system down before I can go to bed. I just want to make sure you protect your sleep. It is great that you're pursuing the spiritual practice, but you protect your sleep intensely. I guess we could talk about everything else at subsequent sessions. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone who has shared your goals. So what is the difference between a desire and a goal? I will leave you with that question. What's the difference between a desire and a goal? If it doesn't have a deadline behind it, it's not a goal. It could be a wish, it could be many things, but if it doesn't have a deadline behind it, if it doesn't have a hard deadline, actually please clarify. If it doesn't have a hard deadline, I don't know who I'm speaking to. There is an area where you were motivated at some point, but you lost the motivation. That's because the deadline passed and you did not create a new deadline. One of the most important ways to refresh your goals is to refresh your deadlines. That's one of the most, Florence, the PhD has its own timeline, right? The PhD has its own timeline. It has its own single deadline at the very end, but the elements in between, including getting ready for your dissertation, for defense, for the modules you're covering, they require your own internal deadlines. And the more hard, H-A-R-D, ngumu deadlines. Have you ever eaten kangumu? It's hard. The more hard deadlines you give yourself and you honor them, you will get such momentum that the PhD will become one of the smaller things in your life. It will become one of those things that actually run so smoothly. Deadline, penalty, consequence, someone else attached. This is the pathway forward. So today, as you look through the goals that you wrote again, I want you to think of two things. Number one, do you have elements that need to be automated? Do you have things that need to be automated, that need to go into your daily flow? And number two, whatever remains, are they desires or deadlines? If they are desires, these are things that you would want. You feel something about them, but you have not broken them down to goals. Because once it becomes a goal, it becomes SMART. Please review for yourself SMART. This is an acronym that is used everywhere. SMART. SMART ends with time-bound. Time-bound, hard deadline. That brings us to the end. I didn't expect for us to go that long for this, but this is so practical. This is so practical that it's probably one of the single most important ingredients to add to DCR, decide, commit, resolve. You combine these two, it can change everything. I think the final feedback I will give to everybody that spoke is that each of you need to specify at least 4, 5, 6 goals under each of your desires. Esther, your book, the book that you will write, you need to specify the specific goals under each and under that overall heading. You break them down like very, very specific. I will do X by this time. It needs to become very specific. It needs to become specific, measurable, action-oriented. And the result needs to be something that it needs to be tangible. So sometimes you can have 10 goals. And when you have 10 goals and you have 4 or 5 deadlines, your day begins to move with a certain motive, a certain motivation. It becomes very easy. It becomes so easy for you to actually move. I don't know how else to share this from my personal experience in terms of how I've used this, but I hope that this let me ask just two people. We are at 8:40, but let me ask two people, and I'm going to ask Gladys. Yes. And Nicole, because Nicole, you are one of our fresh brains. Gladys, what is the single deepest insight you think you've probably got, maybe one or two you've gotten from this session?
Desire and motivation will work with a deadline, and that deadline has to be hardwired, non-negotiable. It has to be like almost it's a do or die deadline. And those goals, so that they can be actualized, break them down into quick ones, short, quick ones, so that they flow in succession. And when I reflect the things I did, they actually had that. And those that I didn't, I'm guilty of the pilot who left the aeroplane on the runway in a few of them, because they basically did not have that. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Gladys. So I will use the example of Esther. Esther, the book is the desire. The book published is a different activity from the book edited, from the book rewritten, from the book written, from the book drafted, from the writing started. Maybe the goal right now is to write the first chapter by 26th of February. Maybe that's the goal at this point. Because chapter 14 will not happen without chapter 1. Such that there is that sequence, but having a clear deadline here for this segment of what you need to do here gets you started and gets you going. Thank you, Gladys, for that. And I'm going to hear now from Nicole.
Thank you, Coach. I think what has really stood out for me is the drive behind, motivation, which is urgency.
Yeah.
And so looking at what pushes that urgency is the timeline. So I've come to realize that I would write goals before, but not really. There'd be more of desires, because that, time-bound aspect, I wouldn't really take that with the weight that, it deserves. And so I've looked at my goals this morning. I've just written them as you have told, as you were directing us to. And I think even as I've written the 10, I've come to realize that some of them maybe are more of desires instead of goals. So that is something that I'm going to relook at and just ensure that I'm aligning to the SMART, to the SMART acronym.
Thank you.
Another thing is that deadlines can come in 3 forms: a person, or a penalty or a consequence. I think that has also really resonated with me. It was just deadline equals to time, but the way you've broken down into those 3 segments, I think was quite enlightening.
Yeah, thank you so much. If I know all of you here, if I had a consequence, you will have to send 5,000 Kenyan shillings to an account I will give you if you don't complete what you intend to do by 28th of February. It will be done. It will be done like this. That's another way of using a consequence. Everyone write this down, okay? My desires are pizza. Pizza is Pizza. If you can use chapati or ugali, but my desires are pizza, right? My goals are the slices. My goals are the slices, but I can only eat one slice, a bite at a time. Right? The goal is in the next 2 hours to have eaten the pizza, but you cannot hold the whole pizza in your hand. You only hold one slice, and you bite one slice at a time. So the goal is for you to eat a slice in the next 10 minutes. The pizza is the desire. The slice is the goal, but the slice can only be eaten one bite at a time. Sometimes it's 10 bites. If it's 10 bites, it's going to take 10 minutes, so 1 bite per minute. And that's how you Automate your day where you know, I just need to write 500 words today and then do it tomorrow. By the end of next week, I'm done writing chapter 1. So today, I want you to look at your desires, the core desires. What are the slices in each of those pizza? Once you know what the slices are, then you can figure out how many bites do you need. I would have preferred to use chapati, but I agreed with myself to get away from food that is very high in glycemic index. So now we'll use pizza. Pizza has a little bit of, especially if you have some pineapple on it, and I don't want to make you hungry at 6 in the morning. All right, we'll do the daily reset. We just go straight to. We'll go straight to the intentionality declaration. This is one foundation that needs to be burnt into your mind, and we'll see it enough times that will happen. Intentionality. Intentionality gives. You don't go looking for. You just need to get intentionality. It's like a lamp. You just need to get the lamp, and the lamp will give you light. Intentionality gives me. It gives me the power. Intentionality gives me the power. Intentionality gives me the power to embody, to make physical, to make a tangible manifestation of the identity. Embody the identity God. Embody the identity God designed for me. Those of you who are in the 2023-2024, you know that we spent a whole 2 months just breaking this word by word. One of the most powerful words in this premise is the word to, because that is the word of intention. Any place you see the word to, I want to dance. That is what connects you. Between you and the dance is the word to. I want to sing. I want to write. I want to reflect. That word. And when you coach yourself today, use a little bit more of the word to. It's my responsibility to. And when we read the declaration of intentionality, I want you to see how many times the word to shows up. Every single time the word to comes, that is an invocation of intentionality. There is no to. Where are you going? I am going to the market. That means that is where my intentions are pointed. Let's read the declaration. I used to feel powerless. I used to use my intentionality to permit powerlessness. I used to allow external forces and limiting beliefs to hold me back. But from this moment, I am seizing back my power. Today, I have decided to direct my intentions. I'm committed to master my focus. I have resolved to take command of my actions. Today, I am shedding outdated beliefs, outdated mindsets, and outdated perceptions. I am determined to shape my reality with purpose. I am eager to unlock my true potential. I am willing to some of you have been with this maybe for the third year now. Had you noticed how much intentionality actually is activated when you do this declaration? Listen to people today. You will hear where intentionality is being directed, and listen to your own. It's time for you to do your daily reset. And I will see you tomorrow. My name is Dr. Mogire. Please make sure you share your reflection before you head out. Take the pizza, break it down to the slices, and decide how many bites you need. Goodbye.
Monday for daily reset, tomorrow for return 90.
Yes,
Monday
yes,
for
Monday,
daily
Monday for,
reset.
yes, Monday for daily reset, Monday for daily reset. Thank you, Gladys. Goodbye.